I want to share with you a terrifying incident that I can't forget even after years. This story narrates a harrowing experience I had when I was young. During a summer vacation, my family decided to go to an old countryside cottage. The cottage was located at the edge of a quiet forest, right by a small lake. It appeared to be a peaceful and isolated place, but this story unfolds the events that occurred in this seemingly tranquil setting. The first few days were quite enjoyable. Swimming in the lake, hiking in nature, and spending time with my family were all delightful. However, on the evening of the third day, the weather suddenly changed. The sky was covered with dark clouds, and a fierce storm began. The electricity went out, and darkness quickly enveloped our surroundings, which began to unsettle me. That night, I had to sleep alone in my room. I spent a sleepless night listening to the howling wind and the rain battering against the windows. Just as I was drifting off to sleep, I heard a strange noise. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it, but when I heard it again, I decided to listen more closely. The sound was eerie, like someone was breathing, thin and spine-chilling. I fixed my gaze on the darkness of my room and started to examine my surroundings. And then, I saw a silhouette standing in a crack near the door. For a moment, I froze. Forgetting to breathe, the silhouette was peering inside through the crack in the door, and there was a sinister smile on its face. My heart started racing because this person had made eye contact with me. In that moment, I felt a deep malevolence in the eyes of that person, and I began trembling with fear. In a panic, I tried to shut the door, but it was locked. For a split second, as I looked at the door, the person was rapidly approaching me. I had no choice but to scream, but my voice wouldn't come out. Finally, I managed to slam the door and escape. I ran down the corridor in fear, desperately trying to find my family. Everything was dark, and the storm had left us without electricity. I eventually found my family and told them about the terrifying experience. My father immediately wanted to call the police, but the phone was scratched and non-functional. We spent the night together, waiting, but the strange person did not reappear. When morning came, we called the police and told them our story. They came to the house, but when they entered through the crack, they found no traces of anyone. No one authorized had entered our home. After this incident, we decided to leave the cottage and never return. I still can't fully comprehend what had happened on that dark night. But I can't forget that night or those eyes. It has made me cautious in the dark and alert to concealed dangers. A few years later, I shared this story with many people, but most dismissed it as just a tale. However, I know that person saw me and intended to disturb me. This experience will forever be a part of me, a reminder of the fearful moments I endured that night. Following that incident with my family, I have always been wary of being alone in the dark. Even when I close my eyes, I can still recall that terrifying smile, and sleep becomes almost impossible. This story will remain an indelible memory, always remembered as a part of my life.